Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Friday show of the Diversey BW HOTELIER GM show series, season 2. This is our 18th episode and the 6th one in the West. In the West, in particular, in Mumbai. We have an extremely important and interesting subject today, which we shall debate with 4 of the finest general managers, not only of the region, of the country. The topic is Green Horizons of Hospitality, India's Sustainable Revival Story. Before I go through with the session and bring in the guests, can we play the Diversey video, please? All right. Apologies, we have some issue because today our office area is under a lockdown because of the G20. So our colleagues are logging in from their respective homes. Apologies for some signal disruption. Today is a lockdown where our office is and cannot place. Our colleagues are logging in from their homes. So they could be minor glitches, but not really. All right, my guests are in Mumbai. They have good signals and I have a great signal at home. All right, so let me just dive into the show. Can we bring in the IHA slide, please? All right. The nominations for the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards closes day after tomorrow. We've got barely 2 days, including tomorrow and day after. If we take in today, it's 2.5 days to go. Push in your nominations, go online, file them, and get over with it, get free. All right, and be counted. The jury is waiting to judge all the nominations. We have very good entries this time. Let us have more of them because there are a whole lot of people who in the industry who've done some great work. Their jobs need to be recognized. Their submissions need to be counted. All right. Thank you so much. Now let us get back to the show. Like I said, it's a very interesting show. The topic is Green Horizons of Hospitality, India's Sustainable Revival Story. Before much ado, I must thank Diversey, our partners. Diversey, thank you for backing us up. You enable us to take our show across the country, across the regions, to a whole lot of general managers who the country needs to see. They need to hear them. They need to hear their views and watch every word that they say. There are a lot of impressionable people from across hospitality schools, ones who are in there and one who are looking to carve a career for themselves in this industry. They're watching. All right. This show is regional from north to the west to the south, northeast, east, central, and then we keep going round and round. Today we are in the west. Next week, we do 2 shows in the south. And after that, we take a month's break so that we can get it headlong into the IHA, which is on the 20th and 21st of October. It's a very, very busy schedule, and it's a massive event which needs a lot of time my time. So I'll be taking a break for a month and I'll come back on the 26th of October. Be there, look out for us, watch the show live on bwhotelier.com and all our social media platforms, be it Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And if you miss the live webcast, you can watch the recordings on these same platforms. Without much ado, let me straight away introduce the show. First, with an introduction to the general managers who are coming in. Jalaj. All right, Jalaj Rohatgi. Jalaj Rohatgi is the rather well-located and well-appointed Intercontinental Marine Drive. He has a brilliant view behind his head. Jalaj, welcome to the show. He's right there where the action is, where the Marine Drive is. Jalaj, are you there?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for inviting us.
Look at the beautiful hotel, the location, and the Marine Drive, right from Cuff Parade, that entire arch which goes up to Malabar Hills. Look at the beauty. And somewhere in between there, the Ajanta Caves. All right. So next in is Ajit Singh Garcha. He's the area general manager of the park. He's logging in from Hyderabad. Hi, Ajit.
Hi, sir. Thank you for having me.
Just switch on your camera, please. Next in is Ajoy Balakrishnan. Ajoy is the general manager of the Fairfield by Marriott. He's bang next to the airport. Welcome to the show, Ajoy.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. It's great to be joining on a rainy day.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Last but not the least, the newest entrant into Mumbai. We've exported her from New Delhi and from Lutyens, Delhi. Sheetal Singh. She is the general manager of the just to be opened Ginger Mumbai International Airport. Welcome to the show, Sheetal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today.
And this is going to be the flagship Ginger in the country.
Absolutely.
With how many rooms? How many keys?
371 rooms coming up.
Can you imagine a Ginger with 371 keys? What a statement. All right, amazing. Okay, Sheetal is a Jammu girl from Jammu to Mumbai to Delhi and back to Mumbai. All right, there you are. Okay, Ajoy and Jalaj are Mumbai boys, and Ajit is a Punjabi boy, right? So he's there, Ajit Garcha. Garchas are Jats, by the way. All right, now a bit on the show. Embark on a journey of sustainable transformation today in the Indian hospitality landscape. As you join us with this session, Green Horizons of Hospitality, India's Sustainability Revival Story. We shall explore pioneer sustainability practices inspired by India's conservation heritage and exemplified by industry leaders like ITC Hotels. And today, as we collectively pave the way for a greener hospitality future. All right, without much ado, Jalaj, if I may, can I begin with you?
Sure, sir.
All right, Jalaj, let's talk a bit on conservation legacy. If you can reflect on India's historical conservation practices and how they inspire modern day sustainability initiatives in the hospitality sector.
So I would actually start with a statement that sustainability, the word that we've been hearing on and off every now and then, is actually a fairly new word that has come into force very recently. However, for us, as Indians and in our culture and our society, it's always been there. And the reason for me to make this statement is I'm going to use a very few common examples in and around that we've seen all throughout our lives. Going back to our native villages or towns, the design of the houses were always made in conjunction with the nature. Use of something as simple as the jalis on either the windows or a ledge above were always there with regards to the ventilation system. Using natural resources, using local producers have always been a part of our culture. Even back home, a very simple thing, as simple as making a aam panna that I still remember my grandmother used to make. You'll always have the aam seeds floating in the pannas every now and then. And the whole idea was to actually use all the available resources and not have any kind of a wastage. Uh, Culturally, we have always been a community which tends to live together, work together, and hence we always had large united families staying together. And these are some of the very basic things that are actually driving the sustainability in the modern world. Chefs and professionals all around are now looking at zero food wastage, which we've been practicing throughout our centuries. Whether we talk about the eco-friendly construction, natural resources, those have always been a part of our legacy since centuries over. So sustainability for us Indians has always been a part of our traditions and locals. So it's not something which is very new. It's just that we need to now ensure that we are able to bring back the legacies that we've always seen and have been doing for a long, long time, and just use that as a source of inspiration. And from my perspective, it's been there. We just need to now get it to the forefront. And all the jargons that we hear about eco-friendly, utilizing the resources, local producers, community, have always been practiced. We just need to now reinforce them in the current world.
Yeah, very well said, Jalaj. We've actually been a very, somebody's audio is playing. You might want to go mute, please. Ajit, can you go mute, please? All of you. Ajoy, Sheetal, just go mute. All right. So, we guys have been brought up in a very eco-friendly so-called upbringing, be it our kabadiwala or the bottles that we sent for refilling, but somewhere come the 90s, we've lost our way. And lost our way how? We for efficiencies and cost efficiencies or production or logistics efficiencies, we left our glass bottles for plastic PET bottles. We started getting into tissue cultures. And you know what that has meant. The only disposable items that we had were bottles and newsprint, which are all recycled. So I guess what we need to do is we need to unlearn and learn and step back. We need to look back in time. We need to do what your dadi did while making aam panna, right? So there you are. We talk about compost now. It was always practiced by our elders. Sheetal is nodding her head. She knows. We came from very, very rich but humble backgrounds. Rich, why? Because we didn't waste. We were rich in our upbringing, So yeah, I won't bore you with more. Ajit, let me straight away dive in with you. You'll have to unmute. Let's talk about sustainability's competitive edge. How can adopting green practices enhance brand reputation, attract conscious travelers, and drive business growth?
So yeah, I think very critical, but it was probably this could enhance a few years back, but right now, as per the studies which have happened, I mean the data is there. If we search on the net, Booking.com did a kind of analysis of travelers on their site, and they realized that up to 81% of travelers are looking at sustainable solutions for their accommodation, or they're looking at accommodations which are providing sustainable and environment-friendly lodging and experiences. And out of that, what is most encouraging is that out of the 81%, supposedly 73% of them are ready to pay more for that. They understand that if we are going to stay in a place which is going to be good for the world and good for planet Earth, they're ready to pay more. And even better part is that the millennials and the Z, or the new Z generation as they call it, 81% of them look for only these places to travel. So I think, yes, the question by itself is very relevant. If we are not going to move towards sustainable luxury, and we are not going to move towards negating our carbon footprint, we will not be a first choice of the upcoming traveler.
True.
So it is no more, I mean, it is no more a fancy word, I think. It is no more, it can no more be part of your presentation. It has to be practiced. People have to see it happening on the ground, and automatically we can become a preferred choice of travelers.
So those of you who've seen me travel to your hotels and stay over there, my first call is the front office, followed by the housekeeper, right? I go and meet them and I tell them, listen, do not change my bath or bed linen till I don't check out, right? We don't do it at home. Why should we do it over there? Why do we change, so many things? And why do we fill our glasses and not finish the water and throw it away? First of all, we are consuming RO, and RO comes at a price, which in itself is not very good. There is jury out there on it. So I think small baby steps, and we can step back a little. My worry is a whole lot of us think that when I stay at home, I don't pay money. I go and stay in a 5-star hotel, so I must waste as much as I can because I have to recover my money. खाना ज़्यादा order करो, आपने खाना इतना ही आपकी company पैसे दे रही है, आप कम खाओ, right? आप उतना लो, उसको बोल दो भाई मेरे को कम portion देना, give me smaller portion. I think we all need to get conscious. The very fact I get requests that please do a lot more sustainability shows is a fact that the audience and the speakers are all up to it. And that is such, like Ajit said, Gen Z is already aware. They're ready to go to places which are sustainability friendly, which are environment friendly. Why not? So, Ajoy,
there are two things more. Sorry.
Bolo.
There are two things more. One is that, while I was, trying to read or prepare for it also, I was thinking, one thing which is that the government can play a very important role. Supposedly in California state in US, they have passed a law that hotels cannot have small bottles. So it becomes a rule. Similarly, although we try and go paperless, all our hotels have got software systems. Registration can be on notepad or tablet. But the government requires us to have paper filings for 3 years, 4 years. So I think the government can play a very important role by passing in laws and ensuring that certain times we want to do some things, but we still need to have a paper trail because of regulations.
Yeah, true. I agree with that. But to be honest, the government is doing quite a bit. Now it is for us to do our part, right? 1, 2, I hardly need any lessons from the US, especially California. For they sent us the culture of tissue papers and aluminum foils and throwing everything. They even gave us linen, which were to be disposed of every week. I was in the US till not very long ago, maybe 2 decades ago. They waste, and they waste everything. But they come and give us summons, right? But yeah, good that they passed a law that you cannot use small bottles. But chalo chhado, ab humne apna dekhna hai, we have to do a lot because we are becoming the factory of the world. So we'll have to be very careful, right? All right. So Ajoy, if I may come to you. All right, you're muted.
Yes, I am.
All right. So Ajoy, tell me, I want to talk a bit about innovation in the space of eco-friendly design. If you can highlight some sustainable architectural and design practices that integrate green features and reduce environmental footprint in hotels. The magic starts over there, the field starts over there. I mean, yes, of course, we've removed all those wasteful accessories from bathrooms, right? But we need to go a long way.
So even simple things like double glazed glass, which is used by hotels now, which cut down on the light which comes into the room and energy conservation that happens. Like the water, I mean, the next decade is going to be very important for water for the future generations. Water is going to be a big challenge for us. And we all know that, and we are taking it for granted. And we've seen that with a 30 or 25% drop in rainfall this year in the country, and we are all shivering. I mean, I'm in Mumbai now, and I know that we take it for granted because it rains very heavily. We say it's okay that we use water very easily, but the small things that we do, whether we use aerators in the rooms, whether we have rainwater harvesting, STP plants that are being used now, and reuse of water which is being wasted. These are all small things that will make a lot of difference in the days to come, in the years to come, of course. So I think these are things that, as a hotel, we are all very conscious about. We are one of the rare hotels that is completely smoke-free. I mean, we do not encourage smoking, or we do not permit smoking in the hotel, anywhere in the hotel. And we charge a huge penalty for people who do it in the room. I've got flack from guests who throw their weight around, but we fine them $5,000. And from next time, either they don't come to my hotel or they stop smoking.
Excellent.
And I'm doing 90% occupancy. I'm very happy with it. I mean, 90% of our guests are non-smokers. So why should we bow down to the 10% or less?
Well, not very long ago, quite a few years ago, I used to do
It used to be a chain smoke.
I used to do 60 cigarettes a day.
You will be fine next time if you do that.
Well, no, I don't. I'm cigarette free now for many years. Yeah.
These are things that I think hotels are doing now. And like Jalaj and the rest said, that India is, as a country, we were traditionally very conscious. We were used to all these terms, reduce, reuse, recycle. We all lived through it, and we went through that 90s or 20 phase where everything was excess. We thought it is good to spend and throw, and now we are going back to the olden culture, at least stepping back a little bit and thinking about the future. And like Ajit rightly said, the younger generation is much more conscious, which is fairly good that at least they are conscious about this fact.
So tell me, do you have regular chats with your team?
Yes, of course. I mean,
do you in your morning rounds or whenever you take rounds, do you monitor all these things on what are the wasteful things that we can, readily control and happily control? So
a lot of things are technologically driven, and a lot of things are driven to the team also. Like the lighting system, it's all pre-programmed. And since we have got nice large windows, which lets in light also, but doesn't give the harmful lights, it helps in conserving this. And our engineering department, our chief engineer does a bit of training every month to all the team members. And it's put down, I mean, every day it is put down to the team members that we need to cut down on wastage, of course.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I'm going to come back to you in the second part with an interesting question.
Yeah.
But let me now just head in where my good friend Sheetal is. Sheetal's wearing green today, and that's so appropriate to the topic, right? And for those of you, like I keep telling everybody, Sheetal inspires me in more ways than one. She's somebody who's into fitness, and for the uninitiated and the unaware who don't know Sheetal too much, before she starts work every day in the morning, she completes a 10-kilometer jog. Yeah, fantastic. You are a leading light for all lazy people like me, Sheetal.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. And good to have you on the show. Now, let me just come in with a question to you. Sheetal, circular economy principles. If you can explore the application of reduce, reuse, and recycle principles to minimize waste and resource consumption in the hospitality value chain. You've been in Delhi, now you're opening a massive 370 wall ginger, right? So tell me more about this.
Okay, so Bhuvnesh, I feel that the earth is what we all have in common, and we must save it. I personally believe in keep going back to the roots whenever there is a discussion on environment, and I personally feel very strong for this cause. And so the concept of circular economy, it focuses on designing waste out of the system by keeping resources in use for as long as possible, extracting their maximum value, and then recovering and regenerating materials at the end of their life cycle. Now, I work for world's strongest brand, and I take pride in saying that we do not just create memories for our guests, we also take a strong stand when it comes to our commitment for the environment and also towards minimizing waste consumption and the resource consumption. Last year, we launched Pathya, which is derived from a Sanskrit word, essentially meaning a path or a way forward. So this framework of Pathya, it outlines several short-term, long-term goals for us to be achieved by 2030. So starting from 100% plastic elimination to 100% water waste recycled, reused, 50% energy from the renewable sources like wind energy, solar energy, and many others. In fact, just before moving to Mumbai, that you were talking about my previous assignment, Ambassador, that's one of the very few hotels in the country that actually had a green DG installed already.
Oh, wow.
So if you have attended a meeting at one of the IHCL hotels, our meetings are 100% green. And we have initiative called Energize that drives towards greener meetings. And I think the need of the hour is to create awareness. And thank you to you and to all the gentlemen over here for taking out time today to discuss this important topic. All of us working in this industry, I mean, we all understand the importance of reduce, reuse, and recycle, and we have all been contributing towards it through many initiatives. We need to continue this momentum and be the torch bearers. And I feel that we are fortunate enough that we can make a difference by being representatives in our own hotel chains, and not just by implementing various initiatives, but also educating the society on sustainable initiatives and reduce the carbon footprints by all means. Thank you.
Excellent. I remember, I mean, I've seen Mumbai since my childhood. I've been born and brought up in Delhi. I've lived outside India in many countries, right? I thought we were much better off than the world was. Right?
I agree with you.
Right. I came up in a Delhi which had fresh air, less people. There were not so many cars, right? We didn't shy away taking DTC buses. I, in fact, from South Delhi to my school in Connaught Place, the modern school in Barakamba Road, I used to cycle. Right. So, I mean, talk to someone today on a two-wheeler to get to that part of the city, they would be scared. Yeah, so I think we need to reclaim our spaces. We need to, I mean, there are entire countries which are on cycles. You look at major parts of Switzerland, Holland for that matter, right? They make it prohibitively expensive to buy a car. Look at Singapore. Yeah, to get a permit to buy a car is far more expensive than the cost of the car by itself. And if you don't have a parking, sorry, take the public transport. Yeah, so good way. And that brings me to the intermission, so to say, in Hindi filmy terms. I shall take a short commercial break about Diversey IHA before I head back to Jalaj. Can you bring in the IHA slide, please? Salman, if you're having broadband speed problems, can you hand it over to somebody else, please? Shweta? Okay, let's get on with it. Salman, I want you to hand it over to somebody else who has better broadband speed. All right. Okay, Dee. All right, let's get on with Jalaj. Jalaj, apologies for this. Salman is somewhere back of beyond and his signal, as you can see, is not very interesting. All right, Jalaj, if I may come to you.
Sure.
Local sourcing and community engagement, right? We can keep importing our stuff. We can keep buying it from far and distant locations for our exotic so-called sourcing. That doesn't help. Tell me if you can discuss the positive impact of sourcing local products, like our Prime Minister says, vocal for local, and supporting communities and enhancing guest experiences through authenticity. I must tell you, I was at the Conrad in Bangalore 3 weeks ago, and the produce that he was getting was some of the finest exotic salads and tomatoes and mushrooms. And, you know, they were coming from Chhatarpur in Delhi.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what we have around Chhatarpur? We have the entire NCR, be it Gurgaon, be it Delhi, be it Noida. All right. So there is local produce available, and all that produce we were importing earlier. So if you may, please help us with this.
Sir, before I answer the question, Chhatarpur also has a lot of factories which are now into dairy and cheese production, by the way.
That's it.
And the best of the cheeses with variety in terms of the milk use, by the way. Some amazing stuff coming out of that place. Coming back to the question, I'm gonna pick up a few lines from the other gentlemen on the show and talking about Gen Z and today's travelers and everything. And the biggest impact that we've seen right now is that the travelers are now not looking only for a destination. And they are actually looking at an overall experience the entire journey brings on the table. And the best quote or the best example to actually give you for this was Airbnb. The success, and I understand that most of the hotels have taken them in as a competitor at some point of time. But Airbnb, from my perspective, has the reason for the success of Airbnb is because it gives a traveler an opportunity to be like a local for a few days of stay, you know, staying in a house, in a small community, experiencing what the locals tend to do, whether it is the next door grocery shopping to the traveling. Everything was, from my perspective, the biggest reason for the success of Airbnb.
Yeah, but also, Jalaj, Airbnb are very compact and uncomplicated operations as compared to what you all.
I agree, completely agree.
You know, give them 50 rooms and give them 10 rooms, and let me tell you, you'll see them fall flat.
I agree. I'm not here to say why and what. It's just that one of the reasons I personally feel that Airbnbs have worked very well, especially in parts of Europe, is because it actually gives them the opportunity to experience what the locals do. Can that be the same case in a city like Mumbai? I doubt. And would the traveler actually be looking at it? I doubt that as well. But the whole idea is to experience what the locals do. I think that is what brings the main question on the table, that how do we get that sorted out? And apart from trying to behave like a 5-star hotels and big brands and stuff like that, if we just do the basics, I think we can be a lot better than these Airbnbs of the world. Sourcing of locals, local produces, local products has obviously got a lot of benefits, and benefit is a word that a lot of the general managers and the owners like to hear. So apart from reducing cost, looking at carbon emissions, cheaper options, but good quality stuff, it also actually gives you the command to understand where is the produce coming in from. You can control to a large extent what you want to receive as a hotel. Availability, seasonality are good options as well. And from my perspective, rather than buying a canned food which is imported all the way from US or Canada, buying a fresh produce from a small tiny village like you just mentioned, Chhatarpur, is an amazing experience all by itself. Not only it actually gives you as a chef, which is the creative director in any industry of the hotels, it actually also gives you the option of working closely with the community, giving it back, trying to control the situation, but at the same time be a part of the community. I mean, like I said earlier, we've always been brought up in an environment that we've always had large families and communities and joint families staying together. And it's just replicating that in day-to-day life as a professional as well. It also does help the community by ensuring that there are jobs available for them. And one of the biggest questions that most of us have asked earlier in our careers is, what are we getting back in return? And from my perspective, the biggest thing that you can get out of this is actually your brand marketing, whether it's you as an individual, whether it's you as a hotel, or whether it's the brand by itself, or even the owners. The kind of marketing, the kind of reach that activities can help you with will always benefit you as a business. So it's all about coming together, working together, forming a community, giving it back, which will only help you to do your business better. So all in all, I personally think that working with local community will always be an added benefit, and hotels which can inculcate local produces, seasonality, local chefs, local cuisine will always have a better edge than the others.
See, it was only recently that we started going to these large modern retail formats for our provisions and grocery for sabzi tarkari. Otherwise, we would go to our local guy, either he'd come to our home or we'd stop there on the way to our homes, right? But that is here. But for you guys who need large and a well-oiled machine to supply you your provisions and all, I think it can be all done. You sell Forex, you serve them fresh, and like you said, you actually give opportunities to the local community.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can get the best mushrooms here. We don't need to import them. I'm sure we can do baked beans here, and we don't need to go to Heinz in the US, right? And I'm sure we can get our local Kinnaur and Kashmiri apples and don't need to go to China or Washington.
Get the best Gucci mushrooms too from Kashmir.
Oh yeah, the best Gucci mushrooms.
Yes.
You know, where do they come from? You know better. Yeah. So yeah, I think at our each individual level, we should be extremely conscious and we should push hard. Go local and go vocal for local. You know, your linen, everything. I mean, India exports. So yeah. All right, Ajit, मैं वापस आ गया तुम्हारे पास. All right, if I may, tell me waste management and upcycling. All right, you've been a hotelier with years behind you. Showcasing creative initiatives that manage waste efficiently, right? And promote upcycling, contributing to a circular economy. How do you do this?
So basically, the first and the most important thing is awareness at both levels, level of the hotel staff and employees, where there is no waste happening in, say, the employee dining room in terms of food, in terms of our old linen or uh, all the back areas. We are ensuring that there is no waste happening. And the second part is obviously making the guest aware. I mean, I was just thinking about it again. Now we don't do it. I don't know if some hotel does it. If a guest is checking into the hotel, as you yourself said, that if you go into the hotel, you tell the people that I'm staying for 3 nights, do not change my linen. Maybe we can send a WhatsApp message that you can be a responsible traveler if you're carrying your own toothbrush, if you're carrying your own shaving kit, and if you are not changing your towels and bed sheets. That message, if it goes on a WhatsApp or anything to a traveler, it just brings in the responsibility on that person. We do provide those things in the room. We provide those services, but now the onus is on the guest to know.
My suggestion was very radical to a lot of general managers. Give them a choice for change.
Correct.
Don't change
That's
it if
exactly
they don't
my
tell you,
point.
right? So just
Yeah.
dress up the room, clean it up, lay the bed nicely, clean them up, just jhado them, and there you are ready to go, and dry up the towels.
Correct. Put the onus upon them to be, conscious about environment and sustainability. Secondly, I mean, we used to have 2 dustbins earlier on, but now I think most hotels have in the rooms also there's segregation happening by the guest. There is segregation happening by the housekeeping staff. All the wet waste is going into wet compost. We are making manure out of it. As Jalaj spoke about local farming, we've been in touch with hydroponic farms as well as local farms in and around Hyderabad to give us their produce. EV vehicles have come in. They are obviously cost effective, but at the same time, airport pickups and drops have become cheaper because of that. So, it's important to have a green team in the hotel which is deliberating on efficiency as well as cost saving as well as on sustainability measures at all times. And if that is done, that is the way to go forward.
Good. So by the way, I drive an EV. I haven't seen a petrol pump in 1.5 years. I don't know what it looks like. And my electricity bill has just about marginally gone up, right?
Correct.
And a year and a half, I've driven 25,000 on that car. So
That's excellent.
So excellent cars. Okay, good. It's a good feel. So, you've spoken about a lot of good points. I just hope we can go back and cascade them with our teams to have a meaningful, difference in the way we manage things. And I'm telling you, the guests, like you said, send them a message. Don't have to send them a message. When they're checking in, ask them, do you want your linen to be changed every day? Or don't even give them that choice. And when they're ordering in restaurants, which is going to be my next question, if they're over ordering, tell them, sir, this is a little too much. Do you want to carry it home? Right? Otherwise, this is good for you or the number of people with you. All right.
Actually, on the point of over ordering, again, the data suggests that 30% of breakfast buffet food is wasted.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I come from a family where my parents told me, whatever you have put in your plate is prasad and you have to finish it. Like you don't waste prasad or don't drop it. You have to ensure each and every grain is consumed. I'm a conjuice that way. Okay, so Ajoy, मैं वापस आऊँ आपके पास. So let's carry on with food, right? So sustainable culinary delights. If we were to explore farm to table concepts, reduce food wastage strategies, and plant-based menus, right? I'm a vegetarian, but yes, we can all move a little towards vegetarianism, that align with environmental conservation goals. If you can throw more than some light on it.
I think in Marriott, this was something which was imbibed in us, that we should typically make our menu more local centric. So if we are in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, our menu is 90% of our menu is local food. I mean, Mumbai food, or if there is something like a Mumbai food, we make all our menu. I mean, that was specified. We don't want to make too much of international cuisines in our menu. Yes, we will have a certain percentage of foreigners who will be there. We'll make food for them, but our menu will specify that it's more local and it's more Maharashtrian or Mumbai-based food. So that is something which helps. We have done food festival, and we've had your typical Kadaknath chickens, which has been very popular. I mean, this is from the outskirts of Maharashtra, of course, it's from MP. But that's something which really caught on to people. They loved the concept of black chicken. Our government, I think, has specified on millet. Millets has been a big buzzword now, with PM Modi also specifying that millets should be pushed in our cuisine, in our menu. In fact, a lot of hotels of ours are doing millet cuisines, and it's a new concept, and it's a great concept to have.
Yeah, good. But, tell me, how do you manage the kitchen where most of the wastage happens?
So we have got a very strong process of our food and beverage controller taking account of what gets wasted. In fact, not only in your buffet restaurants, but even in our cafeteria, because there's a lot of wastage which happens in the cafeteria. We have a concept of no bins in the cafeteria, except for when you have non-vegetarian food. Of course, you have bones and everything. In fact, we have seen our controller every day sends me a mail at night of what is the wastage which is happening. We used to do about 18 to 20 kilos of waste every day previously. Now it's come down to less than 2 kilos. So it's been controlled a lot as far as cafeteria is concerned. In the restaurant, it can sometimes become very difficult. There are days when you have a good turnout of people. We cannot really anticipate. And in a buffet restaurant, it's very difficult to do that. But we put small portions or small bowls when we know that it's a weekday and there's not much covers which are expected. So it is only possible to curtail it, but you cannot obviously cut down totally.
So tell me, the major waste area are buffets in banquets, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We overcook. We can't always get our
Numbers.
limits right.
That's correct.
So what is the solution apart from going with live kitchens?
So live kitchens is one way. I mean, we push for a lot of live food. Unfortunately, in our country, the minimum guarantee is never correct. I mean, people will say there'll be 300 people, but there are 600 people who turns up. So it is always very difficult to really get that right.
And tell me, if you say we were wasting 18 to 20 kilos, right? And that forms what percentage of what you started with as raw material in the morning, raw food?
So we have about 150 odd staff who's dining every day. So even if you take 250 grams or 300 grams each of that, so it is about 15-20% of the food which was getting wasted.
15-20% is
a lot.
Is a lot for a country which can do with more food for its needy.
Yeah.
So it's not very comfortable when you step out of a 5-star dinner and you have people sitting outside with kashkols. It's really disheartening. But yes, the very fact that we are discussing all this and you're conscious is half the battle won. But then each time you've got half the battle won, remember, half is yet to be.
Half is still left. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So Sheetal, how soon have I come back to you? That is very fast. isn't it?
I was waiting.
Yeah. All
No,
right.
sorry. So since I just had a point to say.
Please do.
Regarding
You know,
the-
everybody should make that point. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I was just thinking that we should have some kind of an innovative approach wherein, if a banquet function is there and the guest sticks to the minimum guarantee numbers and there's no wastage. And if we get a guest, like Mr. Ajit was also mentioning some time back, if we have a responsible traveler who comes to us and stays with us, we should actually devise some kind of an approach where we actually reward the person in some way. All of us, we have our memberships. In some way, we should be able to reward that responsible traveler so that, also it's a word of mouth that spreads much faster. So we may have many more responsible travelers in future. So I'm sorry, I was just.
No, absolutely. I'm completely for it. In one of the shows, I made that point. I'd said that we should, like we do credit card ratings,
Yes.
right? We have credit card ratings, we have fiscal ratings. When you go to buy a car or our home, or for furnishing a house, we go for taking loans, right? Or education loans. Interest rates should be linked to our efficiencies, to our ability to pay back, right? To our fiscal discipline. So are we good travelers? Are we responsible travelers? There's got to be some, not just travelers, and then how do you go and eat food? So somebody, while you're rating the restaurant should rate a guest. It's like the Uber driver is rated by you and he rates you.
Yes, of course.
Right? So I think somewhere that has to be there. Yeah, well said, Sheetal. So talking about responsible tourism, right? So that forms the basis of my next question. And that comes to you in the green dress. All right. If you can analyze the roles of responsible tourism in preserving fragile ecosystems, right? I don't want a short answer. I want a good detailed answer which can really do justice. And then cultural heritage and promoting sustainable livelihoods.
Okay. So I think responsible tourism is a term that we get to hear a lot, these days. But what does it actually mean? For me, respecting the tourism destination is what responsible tourism is. And in fact, as you were saying sometime back, that we are blessed to be born in such a heritage-rich country, known for its diversity in culture and offerings. And of course, we can actually see a real-life example right now with the G20 summit taking place in India, where the entire country and tourism industry, hotels, of course, we are all putting a united front together when it comes to showcasing our culture, heritage, forgotten art and traditions. And I'm sure the delegates who are visiting us from various countries would leave with several unforgettable moments. And, there are more than 50 hotels that are catering right now in Delhi, I believe,
Yes.
the needs of G20. And everyone has been putting the best foot forward to leave an imprint. So an impression creating, several hyperlocal touches for our guests, truly reminding the world of Atiti Devo Bhava, going back to the roots, and beautiful decorations at the entrance, welcome experiences, themed amenities. This is such a great work. And it should not end with the G20 event. And while we all together, we are showcasing our rich culture and heritage to the world, we are also engaging with the local artists and our communities around. So it is giving them employment, it is giving them work. And at the same time, we are also learning. So I believe this is some fantastic work that we have, done together. And the attempt here is basically to preserve, promote, and enhance this intangible wealth of art that we have. A number of our hotels are engaged in initiatives aimed at preserving, promoting rich heritage, traditions, maintaining the monuments around us, and while providing our guests with unforgettable experiences. We also need to do a lot more promoting livelihood in the society. In fact, IHCL has just launched another initiative. It's called Carecations. These are basically curated packages and which actually offer you itineraries, and it brings together a sense of purpose with the joys of meaningful vacations, where you can actually book a stay and we offer you a curated itinerary, wherein you will have the opportunity to engage with the local community around while you're staying at a place. For example, there is a village in Varanasi where you can actually go and engage with the carpet weavers. So there is a community which
Bhadoi.
yes, of course. So this craft has not only enabled the women of the village to gain self-reliance and earn their own livelihood. In return, when you are actually going and learning from them, it leaves, it actually gives you goosebumps, like how these women are actually becoming self-reliable, and they are also teaching you, and they're so nice to speak with, to engage with. And apart from this, while you're interacting, you also have the opportunity to volunteer. You can train them, you can give them lessons, you can learn from them. In fact, there is another Kerkeshan package in Munnar, where on holidays you can actually engage with the autistic children. And these autistic children, they belong to the tea plantation workers.
Oh, very nice.
And I mean, as Jamshedji Tata, our founder, had said that in a free enterprise, the community is not just another stakeholder in the business, but it is in fact the very purpose of its existence. So I think that's where we all need to pitch in together, and we all have to be responsible.
तुम लोग कितने अच्छे एम्बेसडर हो ताज ब्रांड के.
Of course, 15 years in the DNA.
Yeah, excellent. And why not? Each one of you are great ambassadors for your brands. But as we cap up, they say India is no more the land of snake charmers. We should be proud of it.
Of course, why not?
All right. I am so proud that we were and are still a land of the snake charmers. The color that we can showcase to the world, the colors, the variety of food, our languages, our faiths. We're truly a multi-dimensional, multicultural society. Go from east, west, or south. There is so much. Look at the local foods of Kerala. They vary from Tamil Nadu. Minor differences, but they keep changing. But each one of them has so much of flavor. For instance, I like a dal from Hyderabad. Whoever is familiar, Ajit will know. There is a dal which is made with gongura leaves, and gongura leaves are slightly khatta, right? I think we should help people taste all these things, all those varieties, like Ajoy was saying. Go for local, right? Go for local. When you're in Punjab, have saag. Why do you want to have noodles, right? You can have noodles, but avoidable. Punjab has got so much. Madhya Pradesh has its own cuisine. Gujarat, look at the food, or Bengal. So we've got so much to give to that Gora who is not known. I left India in the 80s, right? And let me tell you, we used to buy Indian vegetables, which were far more tastier. The locals got used to it. They used to have our gobi, gajar, and all that, which used to come from India. And it was frightfully as expensive, though they were not as good looking as the Western versions of gobi and all that, but they were far more tastier. When we have it over here, why do we need to bring it from there? And like now everybody's growing it all locally. Yeah, the very fact. Now let me come back to today's session, the points that Jalaj has made, going vocal for local, or Ajoy, or Ajit, or you now, Sheetal. I think going ahead, the onus lies on us to be able to walk the talk. I think we've got to learn to manage our businesses frugally. Yes, we have to give great top lines. We have to host great dinners, everything. I mean, let's just be a little conservative and a lot more conscious. Is that right, everybody?
Of course.
Yeah. So there
Completely
you
agree.
are. So as we conclude today's enlightening discussion, Green Horizons of Hospitality, India's Sustainable Revival Story. Like I said, we shall celebrate India's strides towards a greener future led by visionary leaders. For instance, in sustainability, I think ITC has done great work. Marriott is doing damn good work. Taj has done some phenomenal work, right? Especially during the lockdowns, right? And we're all getting very conscious. Let's sustain this momentum, preserving our rich cultural heritage, and save our economy from walking the path of waste, right? Thank you, everybody. Don't go as yet. I want to thank Diversey with a video. IHA. Two more days to go. Please file in your nominations. Go online. It's all very friendly. The menu is so soft, so easy. You can all file your nominations online and get selected by the jury for the awards. All right, be there. We close the nominations upload system on Sunday, the 10th of September. All right, last but not the least, we are going down south. After this show, we are going to Kochi, we are going to Chennai, and I'm not going to tell you the topics. I have the topics over here, but the speakers are brilliant. Be there next Thursday, next Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Watch out for the show Thursday, 14th p.m., 14th, 4 p.m., and 15th, 4 p.m. And now let me thank all our guests. Let me now start with the lady of the show. Sheetal, thank you. You made some really valuable points and contributions. You've been very graceful, very nice. And my first show with you. I think it's my first show with all of you. All right. Thank you for being there. And best of luck for the opening of your 371 Keys Ginger. I shall be there and I shall come and see how this one goes. Best of luck. Do well. God bless you. Jalaj, मैं तुम्हारे पास आ रहा हूँ. It's been a long time I haven't stepped into the Intercontinental on the Marine Drive. I have to be there. What a great sight behind you. Next in Ajoy.
Yep.
मैं जब अगली दफा सैर कर रहा हूँ ना उधर, I walk past your hotel, go past the Gurdwara, get into Marol and the Andheri Kurla Road. I do that round a few times.
Please drop in.
So I will be there. Good to see the familiar sight. This is the hotel that I see when I walk.
Yeah.
And Ajit, thank you so much. You're today logging in from the city of my wife's birth, right? She's a Air Force pilot's daughter. My father-in-law was a flying school instructor there when she was born in Hyderabad.
Very sweet. Nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Go
Thank you.
successful, go happy, but go conjuice on the environment front. Be sustainable. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, Team BW, Tanvi, Salman, Shweta, Prashant, Kartike, then Ajit, Saurabh, Amit, Nilesh, and Priyanshu Priya. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
Bless
you.
you.